Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us for another eMarketer Tech Talk, where we host guests of all areas of ad tech, martech, and media. I'm Nancy Tefera-Santos, Senior Vice President, eMarketer at Insider Intelligence. Today, we have a great presentation. We're going to hear about performance marketing. It's an important topic. Strategic partnerships are becoming the next wave of innovation and efficiency. So we want you to pay attention, have an educational journey, send in questions in the chat window. We'll get to as many as we can during the Q&A, so please keep them coming. I want to introduce now two very special guests. I have Jason J. Sharma, Vice President, Product, Creator Tools, and Extensions at CreatorIQ, and Aruna Bhattani, Vice President, Product Development at CJ. Aruna and Jason, welcome.
Thank you, Nancy, so much. Hi, everyone. I'm Aruna Bhattani. I'm the VP of Product Development and Innovation here at CJ. We're the world's largest and most established performance marketing network that's focused on driving scalable, sustainable, and intelligent growth for our clients through our platform tools and our data suite. I'm very excited to be speaking to this topic today, and particularly excited about co-presenting with Jason from CreatorIQ.
Awesome. Yeah, as mentioned before, I am Jason J. Sharma, VP of Product for Creator Tools and Extensions at CreatorIQ. We are the largest end-to-end influencer and creator marketing platform in the world. We work with hundreds of consumer-facing brands globally, and we help them grow, manage, scale, and also measure their most successful and authentic creator marketing programs.
Awesome. Well, as Nancy mentioned, we've got a really exciting session lined up for everyone today, and we're looking forward to sharing some great ideas and suggestions in terms of how you can open the door to unlimited opportunities for your clients by augmenting your technology solution with the right strategic partnerships and driving value and enhancing the customer journey. So here's a quick look at the agenda that we're going to be going through today. We'll kick things off by looking at some of the trends that are changing the nature of martech and what's really driving the need for a lot of these strategic partnerships. We'll look at how the affiliate and performance marketing channel can prove to be a perfect test bed to test out these partnerships because of its outcome-based nature. And finally, we'll look at some key strategic partnership examples across the mobile, influencer tools, and data buckets, so we can offer our audiences with some concrete strategies and tactics in terms of how you can leverage partnerships to enhance the customer journey. But before we dive into the agenda, I wanted to spend a few minutes and talk about the relationship between CJ and CreatorIQ and how this actually perfectly sets the stage for our conversation today. Now, CJ's platform and our influencer team services have led the industry in terms of bridging the gap between affiliate and influencer marketing. Through our extensive research and our channel and influencer expertise, our teams have worked on creating highly individualized content campaigns that have driven client results. However, as we started to work with more sophisticated brands to solve for their influencer marketing needs, we realized that we had to partner with an enterprise influencer management solution that specialized in providing seamless discovery, onboarding, and activation of creator relationships, and also provided end-to-end campaign planning and management. And we found that with CreatorIQ. Through our robust API and data integration, we were able to take things up a notch for our clients and bring in real-time reach and engagement metrics and marry that with our transaction data and performance data and provide a more holistic view of the overall campaign performance. This strategic partnership has really enabled us to augment our technology stack and drive more value for our clients.
And then from the CreatorIQ side, for everyone listening in today, I want you to think about where we were when it came to social media about 15 years ago. There was a lot of consumer brands who weren't paying too much attention to it. They were bringing in interns and maybe some junior level marketing associates to come in and support that. But most of the work was being done externally through agencies or through other content processes. But as that channel grew and matured, a lot of new offerings, including software and services, became available. So those brands could actually bring in the work in-house. So what we're seeing now in the influencer and the creator space is that same maturity happening, where we want to support that in-house the in-house work these brands are doing. And that's where CreatorIQ comes in. And we help really supercharge that channel, which is becoming more and more pivotal when it comes to marketing in 2022 and beyond.
Great. So let's look at some of the trends that are changing the nature of martech and what's really driving the need for these strategic partnerships. I'm sure many of you are familiar with Scott Brinker, who is the VP of Platform Ecosystems at HubSpot, and he's also the editor of Chief Martech. Scott described a conundrum a few years ago that has been dubbed as the Martech's Law, which essentially encapsulates the greatest management challenge of the 21st century, which is how do you manage rather slowly changing organizations in a rapidly evolving technological environment. Now, marketing is evolving at a breakneck pace. And from a human resources perspective, most companies can't adapt organically fast enough and have to look at outside expertise and other technology partners to be able to bridge the gap. And this conundrum is actually further validated by a report where close to around 400 US marketers were asked two questions, which is, how fast do they think the marketing technology landscape has evolved in the past 3 years? And how fast do they think their own company's use of the marketing technology has evolved in the past 3 years? Majority of the marketers indicated that they think the marketing technology landscape has evolved rapidly or at light speed. And this is completely validated by the explosion that we've seen in the martech landscape, which has gone from 150 solutions in 2011 to 8,000 plus solutions now. In contrast, majority of the marketers felt that their own company's use of marketing technology has evolved rather slightly or steadily or not at all. Now, while martech's law presents a real dilemma, the need for digital transformation has been a big priority for the past decade. And this was actually completely accelerated by the pandemic. The changing behaviors of consumers, their changing expectations have made martech an extremely vital tool for the modern marketer. And this explains why the martech spend in more developed countries like North America and UK has more than doubled in the past 2 years, where martech spend now is around $150 billion. So this acceleration of digital transformation and the increased spend in martech has paved the way for what we call the second golden age of martech, which has 3 trends per Scott Brinker. The very first one is open platform ecosystems, where companies, instead of looking at marketing cloud suite or best of breed solutions, are opting for more open platform ecosystems that serve as a stable foundation and are augmented by an ecosystem of third-party specialist providers that are deeply integrated. The second trend is that the lines between software service firms and just service firms is blurring. We're now seeing software firms offer more expert services and service firms starting to automate and bottle up a lot of their expertise in code. And the final trend here is the use of citizen developers, where companies that are adapting more of an open platform ecosystem are expanding on that ecosystem by allowing third-party developers to build more custom apps on top of it to solve for a variety of different business use cases. And we're already starting to see this shift towards more of an integrated open platform ecosystem suite. In 2019, a majority of the marketing technology leaders, around 29% of them were leaning towards an integrated platform suite versus a best of breed solution. But in 2020, we've already seen that number double and jump up by 30%. Now, while the martech industry did not take a big hit during COVID, we do know that martech vendors had to deal with reduced spending as a result of economic uncertainty. And martech solutions such as affiliate marketing that are outcome-based and can drive value were considered even more valuable during these time periods when marketers had to justify every single cent. In the next few slides, we're going to look at how affiliate marketing can prove to be a power player in the customer shopping journey. Now, many of us have seen this specific chart and are inundated with information in terms of how the pandemic has accelerated the growth of e-commerce. But it's not just about more shoppers coming to e-commerce. According to PwC, 75% of the consumers actually tried out a completely new shopping behavior during the pandemic, and majority of them have stayed at it even post the crisis. A third of the consumers tried out a new product, a new brand, and are still continuing to use it post the crisis. I mean, honestly, I can't remember the last time I walked into a grocery store, and shopping for groceries online has certainly been a big change in my own shopping behavior as a result of the pandemic, and I've stayed at it even post the crisis. Jason, I'm sure you have some other interesting tidbits to add in terms of changes in your own shopping behavior during the past 2 years.
Yeah, I would actually say even what's more interesting than just my own shopping behavior is prior to CreatorIQ, I was leading product and creator success at ShopStyle, where we worked with tens of thousands of influencers and creators. And so keeping an eye on e-commerce, especially online commerce in general, was really important to us at the height of the pandemic and when it first kicked off. And what we ended up seeing was, instead of seeing a drop, we saw a huge spike when it came to e-commerce conversion, most of it driven by affiliate, in fact. And so I think what we saw was that COVID and pandemic actually accelerated something that was going to happen anyways. And now we're going to continue to see that going forward with the creators and influencers and everyone online.
Great. So with the rapid growth in e-commerce in the last 2 years, affiliate has responded rapidly and effectively, really solidifying its position as the power player in the customer journey. The unique thing about affiliate is that it gives clients the opportunity to engage with the consumer throughout their entire shopping path, no matter where they might be shopping, on their mobile device, on their desktop, or even if they're shopping at a physical store location. And then it also gives you the opportunity to bring forward a number of different incentives to get them to that point of conversion. And these incentives could be cashback, coupons, reviews, endorsements, you name it. So if a consumer is shopping for a product or is shopping within a product category that they've never shopped in before, the affiliate channel can be used to help them discover a new brand as part of the discovery phase. And they can easily do that by scrolling through influencers on social media, or they can look at product alternatives by searching across that within a browser. And when they're in the evaluation phase, we can showcase different review sites where they can compare that specific product or brand amongst its competitors. Or they can also look at competitive deal sites to make sure that they're getting the best possible offer on that specific product. When the consumer is at the point of conversion, and let's say they might be running errands on their mobile device, we can entice them with in-store offers or buy online, pick up in-store offers and get them to that point of decision. And things like cashback or even the brand's own loyalty program can help build advocacy and bolster those post-purchase sentiments. So the depth and breadth of options that are available within the affiliate channel makes it really easy for the brand to find the right publisher partner and work with them to get to the consumers that they're looking for. And from our technology stack perspective, we have technology solutions that obviously enable us to activate this entire purchase path, but that's augmented with a number of different strategic technology partners as well. We give brands the opportunity to offer a seamless path to conversion through our partnership with Button. We allow brands to put the right influencers in front of the consumers to make sure that they're engaging these consumers in the discovery, conversion, or even the evaluation phase through our partnership with CreatorIQ. And then finally, we allow brands to activate a lot of their first-party CRM data and leverage that for the purposes of measurement and targeting through our partnership with data onboarders like LiveRamp and Epsilon. Now, being able to reach a consumer is only considered valuable if you can tie it back to performance. Affiliate is one of the few marketing channels that actually allows you to bridge the gap between the marketing effort and the output that you're seeing from those marketing efforts. And measurability comes with a whole lot of different advantages, starting with low-risk testing. So by focusing on conversions and measuring what happens in the customer journey, marketers can focus on exactly the efforts that are driving specific consumer behaviors. You don't have to set aside a huge budget to test new things out. The performance marketing channel gives you the opportunity to experiment new things, work with different partners, and then adjust your incentives and your strategy accordingly based on the outcome. The other benefit here is that because we're tracking every single engagement point as part of the customer journey, you have the flexibility to view all of the reporting and insights within a single platform, as opposed to trying to stitch that together across multiple platforms, which leads to a ton of efficiencies. And finally, the last benefit here is tracking integrity. Affiliate is known to have the most comprehensive tracking in the industry. And with the consumer privacy changes that are happening within the landscape, the industry has responded. On the CJ side, we've got our own tagging solutions, both on the advertiser side and the publisher side, so that we can offer end-to-end click-to-conversion tracking in the post-cookie world. And this also ensures that affiliate continues to remain a dependable channel to be able to measure outcomes in the post-cookie world. Now, that sets the stage for what we're going to be talking about next. So we already looked at how companies are embracing more of an open platform ecosystem and identifying the right strategic partners to be able to bridge the gap and add value for their clients. We looked at how affiliate marketing can prove to be a perfect test bed to test out these unique partnerships. Now we're going to look at some strategic partnership examples and use cases that are actually driving value for us. Our mission at CJ has always been to offer innovative and flexible solutions across the affiliate lifecycle, so our clients can take advantage of our existing tech and data partnerships and achieve their affiliate program goals. Incorporating partners as resources across rapidly evolving tech like mobile app tracking, influencers, and even data platforms has allowed us to enhance the customer journey and enabled us to create a seamless path to conversion for our clients and consumers alike. On the mobile front, we've partnered with Button to ensure that we can create a top-notch mobile shopping experience for consumers that are shopping leveraging the affiliate channel. On the influencer side, we've partnered with CreatorIQ to ensure that our brands have access to a broad spectrum of content and influencer personas. And then on the data side, we've got deep integrations with data onboarders like LiveRamp and Epsilon, so our joint clients can activate a lot of their first-party CRM data and benchmark the affiliate channel's performance in driving either specific customer segments or even custom audiences. Now, what you see on the screen here is a sampling of some of our most prominent strategic partnerships. But this list continues to evolve and grow as we're looking at ways to create and drive more innovations and efficiencies for our clients. So let's start with the first strategic partnership bucket here, which is mobile. So one of the other trends that we've seen over the last 2 years is that convenience has become a top priority for consumers, especially with shipping speeds slowing down because of a lot of product demand or supply chain issues. Consumers are looking at fast and easy ways to get access to the product that they want, and they want it right away. And they're facilitating a lot of these shopping journeys on their mobile devices. According to Digital 360, 49% of the consumers that were interviewed had mentioned that they had actually made a purchase in app. 31% of the consumers said that they'd leveraged the app to search for products in store, and 28% had facilitated a curbside pickup. Now, while all of these stats completely resonate with me as a consumer, the one that resonates the most is this 28% number, because I can't tell you the amount of curbside pickups I've done at home and garden stores during the pandemic, and I've become completely spoiled, and I continue to do it. So I am definitely in that 28% bucket. Jason, any of these stats resonate with you?
Definitely in-store search. And because of the inventory issues you mentioned, you have to make sure it's available or not while you're there live.
Great. So this clearly indicates that mobile has become a really critical part of the consumer shopping journeys. And this is one of the key reasons why CJ partnered with Button to ensure that we can allow our clients to optimize mobile traffic and then leverage the performance marketing channel to drive more in-app sales, more app downloads, and just bolster app usage in general. So from a mobile web conversion tracking standpoint, CJ covers a number of different tracking scenarios where we track consumers going from the publisher's mobile web to the advertiser's mobile web, or consumers navigating from the publisher's mobile app to mobile web. We work with a number of different mobile measurement platforms to support with attribution when it comes to in-app tracking. But our partnership with Button really enabled us to extend our tracking capabilities into the in-app environment, delivering a more seamless path to purchase, both in-app and on mobile web. So any brand advertiser that's working in the CJ network and they're integrated with Button's post-app product and have their SDK, the SDK leverages machine learning to ensure that users navigate a seamless path to purchase both in-app and on mobile web. And obviously, the improved user experience leads to a higher conversion rate and maximizes average order value. The stats that you see here on the screen are from a case study that we conducted in December of last year, where we compared the mobile app performance versus the mobile web performance for brands that were integrated with Button's SDK within our network. And the numbers really speak for themselves in terms of how mobile has become such a critical component in the consumer shopping journey, and how mobile apps itself have become a very important component. So let's move into the next strategic partnership bucket here, which is data. Now, while we've turned to our strategic data partners in the past to drive audience synergies or even provide granular transaction analysis at a client level or even a client segment level, in this specific instance, we turned to one of our data partners to actually conduct a study that allowed us to prove the incremental value of the affiliate channel. In 2019, we partnered with Epsilon and ran the largest incrementality study where we analyzed transactions coming from 21 million retail consumers. And we were presented with some really interesting findings that continue to advocate for the value of the performance marketing channel. Overall, when a consumer interacted with the affiliate marketing channel, they were more likely to purchase, they were more likely to spend more with each purchase, and they also made a lot more subsequent purchases. Interaction with the affiliate marketing channel also positively impacted the new to file rates and the returning customer rates for brands. So this is a really great example of where we were able to use a strategic data partnership, not just to drive value for our clients or specific client segments, but to actually demonstrate the value of the channel and continue to move the channel forward. I'm going to turn it over to Jason so he can speak to the next strategic bucket, which is influencers, and shed some more light on how the CJ and CreatorIQ partnership is driving value for our clients.
Awesome, thank you. So before we get started, I want to really dive into the evolution of where the creator economy has gone. So if you take a step back about 10 or 12 years, we want to really look back at what this persona was. And what we would recognize them as is something we call bloggers. At the time, there were these creators or bloggers at the time who were creating audiences and communities that were really siloed on separate websites or blogs. And those creators were actually creating content and monetizing it and making a full-time job for themselves, many times using affiliate and really supercharging their content through that. Over time, what we saw was as social media channels became more visually robust, a lot of these bloggers ended up evolving into influencers. And these influencers really focused on creating content that was visually appealing, that was engaging with their audiences and their communities. And with that, they brought those monetization tactics with them as well forward. And more recently, we've probably seen that the word or the term influencer has kind of fallen out of favor in more towards what we know now as creators. And so this has really ticked off in like the last 2, 3, 4 years, where we're really looking at what is the new type of creator that we're working with. And really, it's these individuals who are not just creating content, but content that's entertaining, that's educational, that's engaging, and for the benefit of their audiences and their communities. And so what we've seen is a whole evolution of what exactly those creators are and what their audiences and their communities are actually expecting from their creators as well. As a result, we also have to take a look at how creators are actually working in conjunction with brands and retailers out there. When we look at what they have to do at the very baseline is that they have to really amplify the message that these brands already have, really shouting out that same branding, that same positioning, and really connecting with the influencers and now the creators that really understand that. But something that brands started to realize was that if they really want to expand their reach and the audiences that they are actually connecting with, they needed to actually connect with these creators as partners and create really rich and robust and authentic user-generated content that could be repurposed to basically engage a new set of audience members that they weren't engaging with before. And so these brands started working with creators as content partners and really repurposing that content. But more recently, and I think this is really a reflection of the pandemic and COVID, is that creators are now becoming the storefronts for a lot of these brands themselves. So instead of using a creator to help make a decision or get some more insight into the actual products or services, there are a lot of audience members and communities going straight to creators every day to discover new products, but not just discover them now. They're actually making the purchases directly with them. And so we want to really connect that and make sure that creators are not just seen as the high-level discovery now, but actually where the conversion is happening as well. And so one thing to note in this evolution of the creator economy and how brands are working with creators is that the creators are at the center of this entire funnel and this entire, not even a funnel, like I said, wouldn't be correct, it would be an actual circle of what's happening. And there's a couple of specific pieces that you have to hit each time when you're working with a creator. The first is building out those relationships. And this is something that a lot of brands are doing with CreatorIQ. In fact, finding creators that actually fit the story and the messaging of their brand. But what happens after you find those communities of creators is that you have to create a workflow that makes it really easy for the brand to work directly with the creator. And so we want to make sure that they want to continue working with you because it's very simple. The third piece is once that content is actually available and usable for both the creator and the brand, making sure that we're scaling it out from an authentic point of view, but also from a paid point of view. How can we repurpose that content and really drive results? And those results, especially in the last few years, has really been focused on e-commerce. So looking at those sales and conversions, a lot of times driven by affiliate. So it's become a really important key piece that it's not just looking at social media value or earned media value, but the whole picture. How many sales are actually being driven by these individuals we are partnering with, known as creators? And then in the end, looking at the data behind that and using that measurement tactic to really start the whole cycle over again with the same creators or expanding to a whole new set of creators as well, so that they can continue seeing, brands can continue seeing business results that actually make sense for themselves as well. And so what is the problem that we really are facing right now when it comes to the creator economy and working with creators? Well, most brands are really running disjointed programs where a lot of the work is very manual still. And a lot of the work is also not scalable or really easy to connect and measure in one place. And so there's probably 3 buckets here that most represent how brands are working with these individuals. The first is the actual creator influencer. And the biggest problem that we're facing there is that there's a lot of fuzzy ROI when it comes to how much value is this individual or this creator actually bringing to the business and the business results we're looking for. A lot of times there isn't specific data points to look at. The second is the e-commerce platforms that we're working with. A lot of the work here is really coming down to the distribution of coupon codes or really somehow actually distributing those coupon codes. So scaling is becoming a big issue there. And then when it comes to affiliate, this becomes a real big problem as the creator economy continues to boom and we see new individuals come in and create new content. Because as they're just starting out, it can become a real overwhelming problem for them to understand how affiliate works and how they can actually integrate that until they become a bit more mature as a creator and they understand the tactics that are happening within the space. So that's where something like a strategic partnership comes into a really important viewpoint for places like CreatorIQ and CJ. What we can do now as we work with consumer brands is that brands can come work with CreatorIQ to not only create a network, but actually discover a network of creators that really match the needs of their brand. And then once they do that, they can actually execute campaigns. And now using the APIs and the data from CJ as we partner together, pull in those monetization tactics such as affiliate links and distribute them directly within our dashboard to the creators for those campaigns. And then in the end, once those campaigns are done, those brands can actually measure the campaign performance and their ROI and actually see not only the dollars being driven, but actually the actual conversion and the engagement with that content as well. While on the CJ side, we see those brands that continue working on the affiliate platforms can refine the product offerings they have in their product feeds. They can also update the compensation types they have, including the rev share rates they do for certain campaigns or partners. And then finally, they can also see the reporting on their side in terms of performance across different channels. So in the end, this kind of ties back to what Arun had mentioned earlier when it comes to measurable outcomes. We're really finding a way to partner together so that we can see an outcome that works for both the creators, but then also the brands that are working with that new and very important marketing channel as well.
Awesome. So we wanted to close this session with a few key takeaways that we touched upon today, starting off with, if you have an open platform ecosystem, there's multiple ways to drive innovation by augmenting your technology stack with the right strategic partnerships. You don't have to spend your product and engineering resources on solving for every single business use case. Focus on what you do best and then find the best-in-class technology partners to bridge that gap. Performance marketing is, because of its outcome-based nature, is a really great low-risk environment to actually efficiently test some of this cutting-edge tech. And finally, we're really hoping that some of the examples and case studies that we provided across the mobile influencers and data bucket have sparked a number of different ideas in your head in terms of how you can find similar partners to create a more efficient shopping path and drive more seamless conversions. With that, I'm going to turn it back to Nancy and see what sort of questions we have from the audience.
Thank you, Aruna and Jason. This was fantastic. I personally learned so much. I loved your slides. The integration with Button is just so cool to see it in action. That was wonderful. Jason, you said, what did social media look like 15 years ago? And you have me thinking over here. Was social media around 15 years ago? It was. Life goes by really fast. And I did a little homework. And MySpace started in 2003. So that's 19 years, just amazing. And also I learned that affiliate marketing actually has been around since 1989 and started on Prodigy. I don't know if anybody in our audience remembers Prodigy, but that's where affiliate marketing all started. And it was really fantastic. Definitely a channel that creates efficiency, innovation, and one that should everybody check out. So really fantastic. We have some great questions from our audience, so I'm going to jump over to them. How's that? All right, here we go. So the first question is, how can a business make strategic partner connections? Do you have any advice on that? And actually, Aruna, Jason, I want both of your advice. How's that?
That sounds
Jason,
good.
do you want to go first and then I can chime in?
Yeah, I think a lot of this has to really do with when you are a business and you think about what your offerings are. Sometimes it doesn't make sense to create or do everything in-house on your own, right? There's always people out there who are very much professionals or pros at these things that are complementary to what you're doing. And so instead of trying to rack your resources to do it in-house, it makes a lot more sense both from a resource perspective, but also an efficiency perspective to work with a partner instead. And so I think that's probably the bottom line, is that can someone else do this better than us? And can we work with them instead?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And I think for us, a lot of the need for these strategic partnerships is driven by the feedback that we hear from our clients, where they might bring up use cases around, combining work streams across different platforms, or even combining data assets across different platforms, or even different marketing channels, like we saw with affiliate and influencer marketing. And when we come across use cases like that, we typically start with who's the industry leader within that specific space, right? What sort of an open platform ecosystem do they offer? Are they an API first technology partner that's going to make it a lot more easier for us to hook into them and for them to hook into us? So those are some of the considerations that need to be taken into account when you are out there searching for the right strategic partners. But a lot of it is driven by customer feedback, client needs, and where the industry is heading and evolving.
Fantastic. Jason, were you going to say one more thing?
I was going to add one more thing that I think Irina highlighted that's very important. When you look for the right partners, it's really important to look for people that, and there's going to be a collective sigh across everyone listening today, you have to look for the right synergies, right? If you don't find the right people to work with, that partnership might fizzle because you haven't really found and searched for the right person or the right teams to work with. So I think Irina mentioned this, it's really important to really find a good overlap when it comes to users or clients or whatever you have there, but it's really important. Otherwise, it's not going to have the impact you're expecting.
Thank you. And let's talk about the creator economy a little bit. It absolutely fascinates me. And I think back to these 18, 19 years. And at the very beginning, how nervous everybody was, right? About creators and influencers, especially PR folks, right? So we've come a really, really long way to really embrace the economy. And one of the questions we have, so looking at influencers and creators, what are the most important KPIs?
I think if you asked this question a few years ago, I think it would be like, it depends. Like maybe it's just engagement on content, or it might be some type of brand awareness. But what we're seeing, and I think especially that resonates now, and something that echoes from earlier in the presentation, is that with COVID and the pandemic, a lot of brands are now not simply looking for these metrics that are a bit more fuzzy, again, to use the same term again, a little bit more fuzzy, right? Now, brands are really looking for actual business bottom line metrics. How many sales are being driven? How many views are being driven? How many clicks are being driven? What can a creator actually do? So I would say today, whatever metrics there might be in addition to that, there's always going to be some hardline metrics we want to see. And I think that's going to include everything from dollars driven. It's going to be looking at how much signups are done, how much conversion is happening. Anything that has a hard number associated with it is very important for a brand to look at when it comes to KPIs. In addition to that, I think it's also still very complementary to look at the metrics around about social media value, earned media value, brand awareness. Those metrics are still important, but they're definitely secondary when it comes to what we're seeing in 2022 and beyond, working with creators and influencers.
Thank you. And talking about metrics, what challenges do you see from a tracking and privacy perspective?
I'll let you go.
I can totally take that, because that's been something that we've been dealing with for the last 3 or 4 years, with all of these different privacy regulations and the changes that are happening in the browser ecosystem. So that's a very pertinent topic, and the one that keeps ever evolving, because the browser policy changes keep ever evolving as well. So Safari already blocks access to third-party cookies to 24 hours. Firefox does not allow you to access them at all. And Chrome has already indicated that they're going to stop access to third-party cookies by sometime next year. So if marketing technology providers are relying on third-party cookies for the purposes of any sort of tracking, measurement, or attribution, they have to move away from that ASAP. So first-party tracking, identity resolution, and being able to do attribution and measurement using first-party IDs is the way to go. And that's exactly what we're doing on the CJ side. And I mentioned this earlier during the session, where because of a lot of these browser policy changes and how important it is within affiliate to measure outcomes and test every single consumer touch point, we have rolled out tagging solutions both on the publisher side and the advertiser side, so we can leverage those first-party IDs to build robust first-party journeys that are not going to be impacted with a lot of these browser policy changes. And then they're going to give us deep insights into what publisher partners are driving what specific behaviors, and how do we compensate them for the value that they're driving.
Thank you. And you also touched on different areas of partnerships. One was mobile, another was data. The question is, how are data partners being leveraged for these marketing activities? Absolutely.
And I mentioned during the session that a lot of the use cases are specifically around clients when they're working with data onboarders like LiveRamp or Epsilon, where they've got a lot of their CRM data housed with these data onboarders, and they're looking at ways to activate that data within the affiliate channel. So there's a few different ways that they can make that happen. First, trying to leverage that information to recruit the right publisher partners so they can be beneficial in driving specific customer segments. So identifying which publishers can drive new to file or returning customers. Another way that people end up using a lot of that CRM data is to prove the effectiveness of the affiliate channel in driving these customer segments and benchmarking that against other channels so we can continue to get more investment within the channel. Another interesting use case is to be able to dynamically commission partners based on that data that's being shared. So you can incentivize certain behaviors. So, compensating a publisher differently if they drive a new to file customer versus a returning customer. And the use case around targeting always comes up as well. And that's another really interesting use case in terms of how you can activate that CRM data. So when a consumer lands on a publisher's website, if we're able to let them know that this consumer is new to this specific brand, they can entice them with a higher cashback or a better coupon to get them to convert and then become an existing customer. So those are just some really cool use cases and things that we've come across when clients are trying to activate a lot of their CRM data within the performance marketing channel.
Thank you. Very helpful. And we have a couple more questions about creators again. So when developing tools for creators and influencers, is a mobile first approach important? And if so, how important?
I would say, again, this is one of those things where we see the evolution of how creators are working with tools. If you asked me 5 years ago, almost all the content creation was being done on a desktop. If you look in the last 2 to 3 years, as we see new channels kind of flourish, especially with something like TikTok, a lot of these new content channels are really mobile first. The tools are built in right into the network. And as a result, those creators are so accustomed to doing everything mobile first. So I would say it has become highly important that we have a mobile first environment and tool set for those creators when it comes to content creation, whether it comes to monetizing that content, whether it be with affiliate or some other methodology. But mobile first is it's now not even a suggestion as much as it is table stakes in terms of really working with creators and getting the efficiencies out of them. I would also say that as you see those creators shift to a mobile first world, their audiences and their communities are also living in a mobile first world. So it is very important that as you create those tools, as us as service providers working with brands, we want to make sure that we're supplying the right tools for not just the creators, but the right place for them to engage when it comes to their audiences as well. And I think brands will really appreciate that, as will other partners as well. So something to keep in mind always.
Great, thank you. And speaking of brands, our last question, how does a brand with a very limited to no marketing budget work with creators?
Oh, this gets really interesting. I think there's definitely a lot of different options here on how you can make that work. But I think if I give a very clear, direct way of doing this, it's always important to see what type of creators are actually flourishing in the space right now, right, for your vertical. So say if you work with a beauty brand, seeing who really flourishes in that space, and then looking for smaller creators who are just up and coming. And it's a great way to encourage brands to work with those up and coming creators because it's beneficial for both sides. One, those creators are slowly building out their audience and their communities, and that brand working with them helps them grow that audience and community with the additional effort, product, money, or payment for the campaign opportunities. And for the brands, they're able to engage with these newer creators who are just starting out. And as they grow, they take that brand awareness and that brand positivity up with them. And that also drives brand sales as that brand grows as well. So I think there's always an easy way to actually find those creators and really find a way to make the creator channel really impactful for your brand, even if you have very little budget.
Jason, you made it sound easy and exciting. Thank you. Arun and Jason, thank you so much. This was fantastic. Thanks for answering all these questions, for our audience, for sending them in. Before we wrap up, let me take a moment and tell everybody what's happening across eMarketer's media channels. You can register for more upcoming analyst and tech talk webinars, eMarketer.com/webinars. Listen to our daily podcast, Behind the Numbers, as well as Reimagining Retail, which is on Wednesdays. And finally, check out our our newsletters. Also, I want to say we are going to have a team at the Cannes Lions event. So if you're interested in speaking to us there, please send us an email and we would love to meet with our audience. Keep an eye on your email. We're going to send out a link to this great presentation. You'll also receive the slides. Please share it around your organization. You want everyone to hear Jason and Aruna. This was fantastic. Share it, embrace it, do it. Thank you all for your time. Thanks again to the entire team at CJ, and we'll see you all again on our next Tech Talk. Bye-bye.